Hello you, welcome back to J-Mick. My name is Jack the Snack That Smiles Back. My hair has not been washed yet, so I'm wearing a hat again. Back onto the most controversial of Reddit stories. Will they be controversial or controversially disappointing? Let's find out together. I'm a 21-year-old female, and my mum is jealous, obsessive, and trying to take away my boyfriend. I've been with my boyfriend for almost a year now. We have a positive, happy, and healthy relationship with each other, and we both see ourselves staying together for the long haul. My boyfriend and my mum have got along well since the very start. Although they still get along very well, my mum has progressively become closer to him than I feel comfortable with. My mum is separated from my dad and still bitter about it after 10 years. She talks very often about how she is lonely, has no man of the house, or a man to look after her, to drive her to places, etc., and how she thinks she will die alone. She also has mentioned in the past how she would love a partner just like mine, how handsome, kind, caring, helpful he is, and how I'm living what she wishes she had. These were just passing comments up until probably the last 6 months to present, where things, I feel, are becoming out of control for the following reasons. 1. My mom and my boyfriend have their own friendship group, which I am totally excluded from. My mom rents a workspace in a local building. My boyfriend helped her move her things from her previous workspace to the current one. My boyfriend then decided he would like to rent one too, and now they both rent spaces in the same building. Since my boyfriend joining the building, they now have their own group of friends that all work in the same building, leaving me totally shut out from the conversation and clueless as to what or who they're talking about when they're having their own chat or gossip. My boyfriend isn't too invested in that friendship group as he tends to mind his own business for the most part, but still engages in those conversations with my mum as it's a good talking point for them both to bond. This makes me uncomfortable. 2. My mum told me she doesn't see him as my boyfriend, but as her friend. This is self-explanatory. I'm not comfortable with the fact she totally ignores my place in their relationship and skips over me as if I'm just her friend's girlfriend, rather than him being her daughter's boyfriend. This makes me uncomfortable. Oh damn, is she literally trying to make him sound more available to her? 3. Mum asks him for lots of favors which have made things awkward for us and made us late for or miss appointments and scheduled plans. Mum asks for favors such as helping her take things to her workspace. He drives. Mum nor me can drive. Asks him to give her lifts, do odd jobs around the house. This never used to bother me up until recently, where it has become very frequent and plans are being made for them to meet or for him to come over without me knowing, and then finding out later. A few weeks ago, we had plans for 3:30 p.m. He came to pick me up at 3 p.m. and Mum asked him for some help quickly with a small task before we went out. We ended up missing out as my mum had him up a ladder on the roof putting bricks up after leading him by saying it was a quick, easy job that would have been done in a minute or two, hence why he agreed. My mum confronted me a few days ago and asked, "Does it annoy you when I ask your boyfriend for favors?" I told her yes, and that I feel it's unfair the way he is treated as he is not a handyman. Why can't she hire someone to do those jobs for her? Why can't she find herself a man to help her around the house? What will she do when I move out eventually to my own home with him? I have made it very clear since that my mum must ask me first before asking him for any favors, as it isn't fair we missed out on our plans. I have also told my boyfriend if mum asks him for any favors when I'm not there, that he must say no or negotiate to a time that suits him and us and his and our plans, and to not drop your own plans to help her out of respect or wanting to help. My boyfriend is naturally a kind, giving person and only wants to help and keep us both sweet. I don't feel like he is disrespecting my boundaries, as I know he only wants to maintain a good relationship with my mum, but I have made it very, very clear that he is allowed to say no to her. It's becoming increasingly obvious that she's not wanting to find another man yet because she thinks she's already found another man. 4. My mum demands favors from my boyfriend and causes drama for us both when he won't drop what he's doing at the second to help her. So the requests of your previous point go completely unnoticed. This one is long but juicy. Yesterday was our 11-month anniversary, so we decided to get some takeaway food, relax at home, and watch a film. My mom has been asking my boyfriend to drive a few bulky items for him down to their workspace for a few days, as she needs them there by Friday. Mom and boyfriend agreed that he would drop them there late yesterday evening on his way home after we shared our day together. Then they arranged that on Thursday they will meet there and he will drop the items from his space to hers, as he can't get into her space without her being there. Throughout the early afternoon yesterday, Mum sent 4 separate messages. The first being, "I will be at my workspace soon, probably before your boyfriend leaves ours." To which I replied, "He won't be leaving until later this evening." Half an hour later from her, "I'll be back by then. I could meet him there later." I replied again, "He isn't leaving until late tonight, as it's our anniversary day together." 1 hour later, she sent, "I can be at the studio by 2:30 if boyfriend wants to bring my stuff." I replied, "No, we're eating now. Sorry." Another hour later, she sends, "I will be here for about an hour. Let me know if boyfriend is coming or not." I just replied, "Okay," at this point. And then another hour later, she sends, "Will boyfriend be coming or not, as I am waiting to leave?" I was in tears by this point, as we were just trying to relax, enjoy our meal and day together, and it felt like she was trying to spoil it. This, to me, felt like jealousy that I was enjoying time with my boyfriend, and if she couldn't have time with him, then I couldn't either. My boyfriend reassured me that he would not be leaving until later, that our day wasn't spoiled, and consoled me. I reminded her they'd agreed later that evening he would take the items, and then she would meet him later in the week to collect them. She replied, "I just thought I was making it easier for him by doing one trip today rather than him having to go twice." This felt like a guilt trip to make me and him feel bad for not dropping our plans for her. And again, I reminded her that it was our special day together and that they had agreed a later time and date. So she has given me total silent treatment since and totally ignored my presence. I feel like people think I'm crazy, psycho, or insecure when I explain these things. But to me, insecurity comes from female friends or unrelated girls that want your man, rather than your own mother. My own mum shouldn't make me feel insecure. There are many layers to it, but these are what stand out the most. It feels like my mum is jealous of my relationship. I am the happiest I've ever been with him, but my mum is a certain type of person that if she isn't happy, but sees those around her are, she has to ruin it. I am uncomfortable that she sees him as her friend and not my boyfriend, and I am so fed up of her crossing boundaries I have set. So a very long story, we won't spend too much time giving our thoughts on it, but top votes are saying that your mum is acting like I'm gonna say either poo or someone who gets around. It's interesting, usually it would be the boyfriend's mother acting like this towards the boyfriend, but no, this is literally your own mother. I'm gonna say it right now. Don't invite her to your wedding. Like, have a fake wedding. Have a fake wedding that she attends, because I guarantee she's gonna be wearing white to yours. This next one's just a short one, but I do like to bring up the question either way. Is it okay to break up because he can't satisfy me intimately? Unfortunately, they give no other context to it all, but I like him as a person, but he can't make me happy intimately. I tried to coach him, but it's going nowhere. Now, first thoughts. Of course, yes. Intimacy and sexual compatibility is a very important aspect of a relationship, and reality is not everyone is compatible with each other. Just because you can't satisfy your partner or your partner can't be satisfied by you doesn't define your genuine ability to be a good intimate partner. Some guys' peepees are too big, too small, some girls are too wide, too tight. You know, it's genitalia comes in all shapes and sizes. Some of us are very fortunate and find people that we just fit with perfectly. Others, we kind of have to make do trying to put the pieces together as best we can. Toys are your friends, people. But the question I want to ask you guys is, to what degree of someone's sexuality do you think it becomes shallow? Because intimacy and what you enjoy from a partner is truly based on what gets your rocks off. Is it a step too far if you can't find intimacy with someone because you don't find them visually attractive? And to criticize someone for doing that, how is that any different to someone who is turned on primarily through touch? Of course, we all find attraction to our senses in some degree, be that ASMR stuff, be that genuine touching, be that just seeing someone. All of them together create what we are attracted to. So how far do you go in terms of the boundary between genuinely just not finding a match with someone versus being absolutely petty and too high of standards? To simplify it, What's the difference between a girl breaking up with a guy because he won't go down on her versus a guy breaking up with someone because her way of dirty talking is by staring right in his face with a robot monotone voice saying... Come. Moving on to the next story. My brother-in-law makes me uncomfortable. I'm an 18-year-old female. I recently moved in with my sister, who's 28, and her husband, 32, because they're closer to my college than my parents, and they offered me a room. But why is it that my brother-in-law gives me the weirdest looks and compliments? Like, this shirt makes your boobs look so good.
Oh, what? No!
Or, that dress outlines your curves so well. Who says that? Or, he'll come out after they had it on and tell me, could you hear your sister? I'm pretty good, huh?
Oh, God, no, this can't be real. Seriously?
He'll also randomly show me his abs or ask if I've ever dated a guy like him. This is a 32-year-old man, oh my god. How can you be this desperate for a girl's approval? You're literally dating their sister! My sister works nights, and tonight I accepted to watch a movie with him, and, of course, the people on TV had to start having it on. He started asking me if I'm still a virgin and if I watch adult content, and kept insisting until I answered. I had to leave the room after that because it was so awkward. There already are issues in the family because my parents don't like him, so I don't want to make things worse or make my sister think I'm against her. So I'm here for advice as to what I should do. Edit to add, my parents live 2 hours away from my college and from my sister's, so I can't just leave without thinking it through.
Okay, that's,
This is by far the most direct experience of a story where someone is just, it's so obviously grooming or just hitting on, and I mean, even if you have the narcissistic ego to think you're just such top schmidt that you would say to your partner's 18-year-old sister, hey, did you pick up the audio frequencies of me copulating your family member? Yeah, that's me. I'm the one here who achieved something that humans have been doing for millions of years. That's my personal win. That's as far as my personality stretches. 4 inches. Now, obviously, Top commented immediately about the fact of, tell your sister about this. And she does reply that she is hesitant too, mainly because there have been issues with my sister not believing what my parents said about him and being convinced that they made stuff up. So clearly this guy's also a bit manipulative on his end towards the sister. And look, if you're in that situation, you don't want to rock the boat. I mean, you just turned 18, you're only just starting out into getting to college and stuff. You don't want to just turn up and destroy everything that your sister's been building towards. Just kidding, yes you should. He's sexually harassing you. He's 32. Destroy his relationship. Destroy your sister's relationship. Make her heartbroken. I don't know, look, personally, I do get the fear of confronting about this kind of truth bombing, but this is truly a torch and burn op. Eviscerate him. Destroy him. Do it. Let's Game of Thrones this kind of thing, because we do have to be a bit smart about this. Obviously, you want to be able to stay with this opportune space where you get to be close to the college. And you also want your sister to still, be there for you, because clearly at this point, she's the only one who's not trying to harass you where you live right now. I would at least start by confronting your sister about in terms of just asking her if she could speak to him about not being so freaking disgusting. No, open about his accomplishments with you two in the bedroom, as well as making comments about her body that you just don't feel comfortable with. Again, try not to spin it as you making these accusations that he's been saying them outright, but just that you feel like he's saying these things a lot to you that you're just picking up lately. The tactic here is to try and make it as if she's the one thinking up how to approach the situation and not you just slamming all these truth bombs in her face that she's so overwhelmed she has to just reject this reality first because it's just, it's too much to bear, to realize. Basically, the more clueless you come across about what he's saying and doing towards you, the more likely she's going to pick up on what's actually happening and likely make the decision herself to...
Emily, currently in the ocean right now. Could you say it for me?
Stop this!
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I miss you.
I miss you too.
That was Emily. That was totally Emily right now. That was totally Emily just then. Enough about the lady problems though. Let's move on to the guy problems. Open relationship. Am I tripping or being manipulated? Because, ? LOL. So my partner and I are in a long-distance relationship while she is finishing school over the next 7 months. I'm a straight man. My partner is a bisexual woman and says she wants to have an open relationship so that she can hook up with women while we are apart. I have no problem with the idea of an open relationship, and so I said that would be fine with me. However, she does not want me to hook up with anyone else. She is only wanting to open up the relationship to satisfy her own sexual needs while expecting me to sit around lonely and horny. She says because her hookups will be the same gender, it's not fair if I hook up with the opposite, and I will be crossing a boundary if I were to hook up with someone else. Am I tripping or am I being manipulated? Obviously not being manipulated. It's totally understandable that everyone knows that when you hook up with the same sex, it doesn't count. Next, you're gonna tell me that gayness is an actual thing and not just a phase we all go through in our college life. And that we're still craving that feel and warmth of Steven 20 years later after marrying Jennifer. No. Stop it. That's wrong. It's wrong. It's sinful. Stop. Yeah, bro, you're being manipulated. But hey, let's see what some people say. Cars Really Suck says, long distance is dumb.
Emily, ignore that part, okay? Ignore that. He didn't say that. No.
Comments are basically just calling him out for being, fooled and cheated on. This is cheating. Oh, I love this quote. It's not an open relationship. It's a gated relationship where they are the gatekeeper. Like, yeah, girl-on-girl action is hot as a straight guy, but only if you're there to witness or even partake in it. Otherwise, yeah, it's cheating. That's my thoughts, though. I mean, any thoughts you have out there about this that could contradict mine or absolutely support it, like the beautiful echo chamber we're gonna be? Let me know in the comments below. Next story is something that apparently a lot of women relate to. Boyfriend thinks he's dying but refuses to go to the doctor. This has been going on for months, but recently started getting worse. My 24-year-old female boyfriend, who's 26, refuses to go to the doctor. It started when his left side began hurting. After extensive Google searches, we concluded, even after he insisted it was stomach cancer, rib cancer, lung cancer, etc., he thought it was everything. It was just a pulled abdominal muscle. It's gone from a sharp pain to a dull pain, so it's getting better and aligns with pulled muscle symptoms. A few weeks ago, he claims his armpits are swollen and the cancer has moved into his lymph nodes. I think he's just overthinking things, but he is in a depressed state almost all the time, and he barely gets any sleep just because he thinks about it too much. Fast forward to this week. His mum schedules him a doctor's appointment for Wednesday, and she told him today about it. He's been in such a sour mood all night and has already told me he's going to cancel it. I know Emily's not here right now, but I can totally hear her groaning miles away just hearing the fact that a grown man here has got his mother to book him a doctor's appointment. I just don't understand why he won't go. He worries about a bad diagnosis, but none of his symptoms leads me to believe it'll be bad. He's convinced he's dying, and even said today he needs to work on his will. I just don't know what to say to him anymore that'll convince him to go to his doctor's appointment so they can tell him that he's healthy. So I'm going to go straight to the comments here. Top opinion, this is anxiety. It does not make sense because it is not logical. He needs a psychologist and a psychiatrist, but he will need to be honest with them. He might not think to mention some parts of his anxiety if it seems normal to him. Sounds like he has some really serious anxiety, but it's incredibly common, and it's treatable. If he won't see a doctor about it, then perhaps you could get some books about it. He might see himself in then. Yeah, no, I hear stories about a lot of guys out there who just have the habit, definitely not me, of, she'll be right, I'll be fine. Yeah, I got this. It's all good. Nah, I'm fine. Because weakness bad must not show. Strong, rock solid. And as much as you want to criticize men for being so stubborn about it, I argue it's not stubbornness. It's fear. It is anxiety. It stems from the idea that if I'm not a rock, if I don't have everything together, if I'm not perfectly fine, then that means I'm weak. That means I'm brittle. That means I'm damaged. And therefore undesirable, because who wants something that's damaged and brittle and weak? No, they need someone that is strong. They need a man who has everything together. The most desirable and achieved men out there are ones that we all look up to, and I want to be someone that people look up to. You don't look up at a brittle, weak being, you look down at them in pity. Of course, that is a damaging and rather toxic mindset to be putting onto yourself, but if all it took to solve an issue was to bring attention to it, then toxic mindsets would have been gone back in 2008. Hell, mental health would have been solved by year 2000. So you have a partner that genuinely thinks they are dying. I don't know if you yourself have any experiences with dealing with this kind of person where their anxiety causes them to be extremely dramatic about things going on around them. Were they able to fix it? Were you able to help them fix it? What did they do? What did you do as a friend or partner to help them improve? What can she as a partner do aside from just telling him that he's fine? So this next one, do you think this is suspicious or them just completely jumping the gun? Girlfriend is having new male friend over for Thanksgiving. I will be traveling for Thanksgiving this year with my family. My girlfriend told me yesterday that a male friend from college, who I've never heard of before, is going to be visiting New York for Thanksgiving, since his sister lives here and they cannot go home to Budapest to be with their family. She said that she invited him over to her house for a Thanksgiving meal this year. Immediately after telling me he would be coming, asked me, "You won't be able to make it, right?" I responded, "Depends what time I fly in that morning." To which she responded, "You'll probably be tired though." This raised a red flag in my head because, 1, I've never heard of this guy, and 2, she's really nonchalant about it. Like, it's not a big deal, and telling me about it right before I leave. It doesn't seem like she wants me there. It's one thing to hang out with him and sister for a day, but I'm uncomfortable with a guy I've never heard her mention just coming over to her house for Thanksgiving, especially when I'm not going to be there. How should I bring up my concerns? So let's get straight into it. The top comment is saying, send her a message right now saying that you have confirmed the flight. You will be there at 11 a.m. and can't wait to spend the day and night with her and her family. Yeah, this. Absolutely that. Perfect response, like these people say. It's not so much about surprising her, but rather what her response would be. That should be enough to tell if OP has a reason to be concerned. What I'd have to ask though is, has she any male friends in the past or in general that she also spontaneously hangs out with or organizes things with? Could this just be a case of a woman having the freedom to hang out with whatever friends she chooses to hang out with? Oh, god damn it. She's afraid you'll get in the way of her stuffing. Now, Irish in Munich here does mention some good points. If she is cheating, why tell OP about this guy? Why does the holiday matter? If she is cheating, she's cheating. If not, OP needs to address his trust issues. Either way, he needs to communicate. And B, if the guy was not a guy, would OP be freaking out? Yeah, again, that whole point. Is it not just a friend? And C, as someone whose mind works like this, she might be double checking OP isn't coming because she is worried that inviting the guy is an imposition on their time together. Actually, the fact that OP hasn't given her a confirmed answer on whether he will be there for an important holiday is a red flag for me. You can't leave her hanging, then get mad when she makes plans. Has it occurred to OP that maybe she doesn't want to spend Thanksgiving alone, but now he is flip-flopping out of paranoia? She feels like the friend is an imposition. And D, if you don't trust your significant other, what are you even doing? Talk to her like a bloody adult. Ultimately, I think this is a story where we need more context about the relationship and its history, as well as any other examples in the past that could cause your suspicions to warrant some truth in it. Because otherwise, yeah, it does come across that you might just be overthinking this, dude. This story, best title so far. I, 26-year-old female, hooked up with my psychiatrist, a 33-year-old male. A couple months ago, I went to my PCP and shared with her some issues I had been having, and she said it sounded to her like it was possible ADHD. Likely made worse on not using prior coping strategies because of the pandemic, and she wanted me to see a psychologist to see if they confirmed it. Like 6 weeks ago, I go to see the therapist my PCP suggested, and she diagnosed me with ADHD after several appointments, checked lists, conversations, etc. She tells me she can't prescribe me meds, and I needed to see a psychiatrist. She made some calls and got me in within a month. Apparently it's a super busy time of the year. Today, after work, I went to my intake appointment and realized I hooked up with him in the summer. It was a one-time thing. I left before he woke up. I don't know if I should disclose this to him or if he even remembers me. We were both wearing masks.
Wait, what? You were wearing masks the entire time you hooked up? Okay.
It did take me like 20 to 30 minutes to realize it was him. Obviously, this was before I was his patient, and I only knew his first name, so I had no idea it was him beforehand. Well, first of all, award to you for giving us the most baiting title. You didn't hook up with your psychiatrist. You're hooked up with a random stranger who turned out to be a psychiatrist. Completely different things. Top comment. Yes, it's a conflict of interest whether he remembers you or not. Even if you don't tell him, it will skew how you interact with him and take his advice. Oh, okay, this comment does correct my original thoughts too. He didn't recognize her and she had a hard time recognizing him at the professionally conducted appointment because they both wore masks. At the appointment, not while they were getting it on. That makes a lot more sense. I mean, yeah, the main victim here is you, if anything. Also, he could possibly lose his license because this goes against the ethical standards I believe they have to adhere by. But yeah, how do you expect the psychiatrist to do the best job for you if you can't even, be your genuine self around them because of this awkward past you have with them? Also, look, I very much doubt he doesn't remember. He's probably still really spiteful that you left without saying goodbye. With that said, that is the end of today's video. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you're this far into the video, well, clearly you enjoyed your time. So, all I request is that you like this video. If you're new to the channel, then subscribe. Please join my family. Rambling is fun, but not as fun as seeing your thoughts as well. So any little opinions or stupid ideas that I've been projecting that you just think are outright dumb, please let me know down in the comments. Your time here is very much appreciated. I genuinely love that you love spending your time with me. So, with that said, my name has been Jack. You have been amazing, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.